Welcome, everyone. This is awesome. Really excited about this event. As Ryan mentioned, I've been doing this as chair and co-chair for, it's now been 5 years, and I've seen this event grow every year, and this is by far the most exciting. We got the best speakers, the most number of attendees, the best hiring employers for the job fair, and it's really organized. There's some great networkers you're going to be able to meet with. Anyway, so I'm David Bradley. Got my charter in 2007. Actually followed up with a Kaya in 2013. Decided that would be valuable. I'm the Chief Operating Officer and Chief Compliance Officer for a hedge fund called Hawk Ridge Capital Management out in West LA. It manages about $250 million in long-short equity. Been chair and co-chair of the Career Development Committee for 5 years. Also been on the board the last 2 years, which has been a really rewarding experience, and great to see how CFA LA works kind of from the top down. Before I get into some of the advice and interesting things about the charter that I think are important and CFA LA, a couple questions. Who is already a CFA charter holder? Raise your hand. Yeah, about 20% in the room so far. That's awesome. Nice work. Who's also already a CFA LA member? A few more people. And who wants to have a really mediocre career? I didn't think so. So yeah, the reason we're all here and doing the things that we do in the industry that we've chosen, and here learning about the CFA program here at a CFA event is because we want to have an awesome career. We want to push hard. We want to do good things. We want to have a better life. And I can't think of an excuse anybody should have for not taking the CFA exam and pursuing the CFA charter. For all the 80% of you that are out there that haven't already achieved it. Maybe some of you are candidates, which is awesome. I hope that's going really well. But even if you failed a level, just keep pushing. It is the gold standard. It is internationally recognized. And even if what you do in the CFA exam isn't something that is going to directly impact your work, there's so many other ancillary benefits to achieving the CFA charter. I mean, I'm a COO. People don't expect people in the COO role to have the CFA, but I'll be at these hedge fund conferences and stuff. They'll see my name tag. It'll say CFA. They're like, CFA, nice. You get that. And there's sort of there's a perspective that you get by taking the exam about all the different things in the financial world and analyzing investments that people, that you can't get really any other way. I mean, just experience is one thing, and meeting people and going to events and reading a lot gives you a perspective, but the CFA gives you another perspective. And on top of that, people know that if you've achieved it, you've dedicated yourself to something, you've achieved it, and not only that, it was something that was hard, and there's a certain amount of knowledge that comes with it that people can count on. And these are the employers, but it's also your peers. I mean, there are people in this room that one day, 5, 10 years from now, might be in a position to recommend someone to join that firm's team. You want them to think of you. So I always preach, network as much as possible. Let's compare the CFA to an MBA, and I'll actually just quote one of our keynote speakers from 4 years ago. It was the Chief Investment Officer of Northern Trust, John Shervam, at the time, and he wanted to bring up MBA versus CFA. And his point was, look, there's a lot of great MBA schools, and they carry weight. But I went to Chicago. So if I'm interviewing someone and they went to Chicago, I know what that was about. I actually know what the program at Chicago looks like and how hard it was and the different things that are taught. If someone went to Harvard or Stanford, great, that's probably good, but I really don't know what it's all about. But when I'm interviewing someone who's passed the CFA exam, I know what they went through, and it's a gold standard, and there's a certain level to it. So he felt like if you had a choice, just get the CFA, and it's certainly a whole lot less expensive than going and getting an MBA. So that's my perspective on the whole charter and the exam. let's talk a little bit about CFA LA and the value of this amazing organization that we have right here at our fingertips. So first of all, there's 2,170 members. There are 15,000 people on the email list. All of the events, for the most part, are available to non-members, just at a higher cost per event. And there's an amazing number of people that come from all different jobs and backgrounds, and it's just an outstanding networking opportunity. Every time you go to a CFA LA event, you're going to meet an interesting person, or 10, and that can only benefit your career and perspective on the world and knowledge base and all the things that we're all trying to do that make us better people and better candidates for jobs and more effective and better performance execution at work and real better life in the end. It's not just this network. There's over 100 events a year if you include the boot camps and classes. Access to such a broad amount of topics. We're constantly having career development events. We have these wonderful happy hour chat series. There are tons of socials that are purely just about getting out there and networking. We have some of the best speakers you could ask for at events frequently. We have Jeffrey Gundlach coming very soon. We've had Howard Marks. The list goes on of people who are absolutely at the top of the investment game coming and speaking. CFA LA was instrumental in conjunction with California Hedge Fund Association and Kaya in putting together Alts LA, which is just absolute smashing success. Sold out the first year, tripled the attendance, moved from a smaller venue to a bigger venue, and sold out again. And that event is here to stay, and it's a force. Also, just a whole lot of other regular yearly events that are just amazing. The Forecast Dinner, things like the golf tournament, which sells out every year, and the snowboarding event, the holiday social, the end of summer party. We have a wealth management series that I'm on a sort of the mini board putting together. It's called First Wednesdays. Every single Wednesday of the month, we have an event with really, really great speakers. I got wind of some of the speakers we have lined up already for next year, and truly incredible ones. Guys like Rob Arnott. So all of this value, tons of value in CFA LA. There's also a scholarship program for the CFA exam, which you can apply for. It's full for 2016, but for 2017, you can apply for getting a lower cost to take the CFA exam. And you might be sitting back saying, well, that's great. I'd love to join CFA LA, but I'm not a student and I'm not a charter holder, so how do I do it? You can still join. It's called the associate membership, and it's exactly the same as being a full member. You pay a fee and you get to come to all the events. You don't need to be a CFA charter holder to be an associate member, and I don't think there's any excuse not to join. There's just so many great events and so many great people at all the events. It's like, I don't know what you're doing with your time if you're not going out and trying to improve your career coming out to these events. So I think that it would be great if everyone joins as an associate member if you aren't already joining through your charter. Anyway, so that's kind of my summary on the CFA and CFA LA. I'll also be here the whole time. If anybody has any questions for me, I'll be out at those tables roaming around, got this red name tag. The networkers will have a red name tag, just so you know, in case they're floating around and not at their tables. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is introduce our very exciting keynote speaker, David Cooley. I'm really excited about this. I think this is going to be really the most on-point speaker we've had in the last 5 years for this event. As Ryan mentioned, David Cooley's a certified career and executive coach. He's also the director of alumni career services and career coach at UCLA Anderson School of Management's Office of Alumni Relations. But what I'm really excited about is when I reached out to David and invited him to explore becoming our keynote speaker, we had a call, and he's kind of like, okay, what's the event about? What kind of things might I want to talk about? And I sort of described there's going to be a cross-section of people there to learn about career development and also stay for the networking and job fair and hear from amazing panelists and that kind of thing. And we started to kind of go down the list of advice he might be able to share, and I was just like, wow, this guy gets it. He understands exactly what this event is about, and some of the things that he brought up I think are going to be really helpful to hear about. So without further ado, I'll invite David Cooley to come up, and thanks again, everyone. Yeah.